Hi, I'm Zach with Josh's Frogs. The Likeable Leucomelas dart frog, commonly known as the Bumble Bee Dart Frog, makes a great pet frog in captivity. Learn more about this fascinating creature from Josh's Frogs. The Bumblebee Poison Dart Frog, Dendrobates leucomelas. Dendrobates leucomelas, known as the Bumblebee Poison Dart Frog, or Leuc in the trade, makes another great beginner frog. They are active, bold, and do great in groups. Typically, the only problem you run into will be females eating each other's eggs. They display very contrasting yellow and black bands and have a loud, pleasant call. Leucs naturally occur in Venezuela, Guyana, Brazil, and eastern Colombia. There are two predominant morphs of Dendrobates leucomelas in the hobby: standard Leucs, commonly referred just to as Leucs, and banded Leucs. Standard Leucs hail from a number of imports originating in Venezuela. Most of these animals in the trade have been mixed together over time, and the resulting animals available today are most likely a mix of various imports and probably populations. It is possible to track down import-specific animals from dedicated private hobbyists such as Josh's Frogs. Standard Leucs tend to be bold, unafraid captives, constantly out and about in the vivarium. The males will typically call very frequently in a high-pitched, canary-like voice. Banded Leucomelas, also known as Guyana Leucs, hail from British Guiana. There may be multiple populations of these animals represented in a hobby, but the relationship is unclear at best. Arguably, there are at least three notable phenotypes present: animals that are mostly black as adults, animals that are approximately 50-50 yellow and black, with very evenly spaced bands that resemble the famous Lamani or Lehman's dart frog, and animals that closely resemble standard Leucomelas but are much, much larger, currently referred to as Guyana yellow Leucomelas in the hobby. All three of these forms seem to breed true. Their offspring resemble the parents, and it's my personal belief they represent isolated collection points, if not distinct populations. Banded Leucs tend to be much more reclusive than standard Leucs, spending much less time out and about in the vivarium. They also call less frequently and can be much more difficult to breed. Other morphs of Dendrobates leucomelas in the hobby include fine spot Leucs, greenfoot Leucs, and chocolate Leucs, which are actually homozygous for a recessive trait and have been intentionally bred. They do not represent a population in the wild. Different types of Leucs are best housed separately from each other. Another Leucomelas morph or population of note is the Serra atoya, or bluefoot Leucomelas. Imported from Europe several years ago, there are very few people working with this rare morph of Leucomelas in the hobby. Josh's Frogs is fortunate enough to be the only people successfully breeding these guys on a regular basis. Offspring are rarely available. They are of typical size of most Leucs, but have bright baby blue feet and a greenish yellow tinge to their body. They tend to be fairly reclusive. Dendrobates leucomelas reach sexual maturity at 6 to 12 months. It's common for males to begin calling as early as 6 months, but it typically takes females several more months to mature. Leucs prefer to lay on smooth leaves or on petri dishes under cocoa huts in the Bavaria, much like Tinctorius. They can be seasonal breeders, producing for a couple months at a time between breaks of several months. In the wild, they are subject to severe dry seasons and temperature fluctuations, which explains this behavior. Their ability to not only survive but thrive in such seasonal conditions make them a notably hardy species in captivity, especially when it comes to heat tolerance. They will utilize every inch of the vivarium and are much more prone to climbing than many heavy-bodied frogs of a similar size. Looking for healthy, captive-bred, ethically produced frogs and ways to conserve them in the wild? Please visit joshsfrogs.com.